In this particular video, I am going to talk about how you can use the authentication system using the Node.js. So let's create a API in a Node.js for the authentication purpose. So if I will click here the login, then here in the network tab, you can notice that if I will click here the submit, then login API is called, where API endpoint is something like that. Okay, so it's very straightforward. API get called, and based on that the front end is collecting all the data whatever it's sent to the front back end, and then based on that it is providing the token. So let's go to the React first, then I will proceed with the next. So this is the my app, this is a React application. Now I'm going to the src folder and app.js. In the app.js, for the register, this is the component is utilized, which is a register component. Now I need to go to the register. So here is the register, and now click it here and let's check it. So you can see that Axios is utilized, Axios library in the React in the front end to call the API. So this is the post method, and data means name, email, password, and password confirmation is sent. Okay, and after successfully getting the data, you can notice that this .props.history.login, it's redirecting to the login page, and now user can log in. So now you go to the login as well. In the login.js, you can notice that after a form submit, you can notice that you are adding the data, adding the token into the local storage and the user detail into the local storage. Okay, how you can also see all this past data, like here you can see the email and the password, like that. So this is for the login, and for the login email or password is required, and you have passed and got a response from the backend. You got a response is you are logged in, success, true, token, this is a JWT token, and this is the user detail, all the user like name, created date, deleted date, status, like that. Okay, so now you understand how the data is consumed here in the front end after getting a response. Now let's check in the back end in the Node.js how we have created. So as you know that in the here you can notice index.js, in the index.js API user, here you can also notice that here is the API and users. After API or users, there here is a login, so it means it is extended with a different page. So different page is users, that's why I am in the user page. So let's go to the user page once again here, and we are calling you can notice that use the express, and through this express using the route. Okay, express.route, you have using route, and now we have extended the route with the login. So this is a login. Now whatever data you have sent from the front end, you have to collect it. All the past data on the post request, you have to collect it. How you will collect? So as you know that you use the body parser, body parser middleware. So due to this, you got access here the two argument, request and the response. If you console log this request, then you will get all the past data. What the past data? The past data is this one here, email or password, you will get it. And now you have collected it. How you will collect? So request.body if you will do, then you will get all the data, and if you will do the email, then definitely you will get an email. So user.find one, what is this? Let's check this line first. So before that, need to understand what is the user, and user is, you know, that exported and you have imported here in this particular page. So let's go to the user model user file and check what is written. So here this is the mongoose library, require mongoose, and through this mongoose you can see the mongoose.schema. You have created a schema, and now new schema. One more thing I want to say that all this syntax you will get from the documentation of the mongoose. So don't worry that how you will know that after mongoose if you write dot schema, then you can able to access the schema. So you need to follow the documentation. Okay, it is very important. So these things, this idea, you just need to learn the concept or some of the idea. You utilizing this idea or concept, you can do R&D at your end, and based on that you can write a code. So this is the best way of learning the code. Now you created one variable which is the user schema, and new schema you have created a schema. Schema is something like like a skeleton, one type of skeleton. So here the name should be a string, required true, name is required field. Email is a string, should be unique, so you have provided here the unique, it is required field. And then password. So password is a string, required field, minimum it should be a 4 and a 20. Now all this all this property you can see here, their value you can provide based on your requirement. The list of this you will find in the mongoose library. The documentation of the mongoose library have all the information about this, so you can follow from there. Now you understand the type, unique, and all these things you can set it up based on your requirement. So it's like one type of table, and in this particular table name, email, password, status, token, you have it's like a column. Okay, so you have done in this way. Its default should be 1, token should be default is not available, it should like a string. So you need to specify all these things. And now after that you have noticed that user schema. So you have to mongoose.model model, and then here the users. It means that user table you can understand as a user table initially. You understand this is a schema you have provided, all the schema you have provided, and this model method comes from the mongoose library. It means behind the scene mongoose library is doing certain thing, okay, to managing this type of schema. However, in the MongoDB you can store the data in any way, maybe in the tabular form like a relationship, parent or child relationship, or in any way you can store. Okay, so now you will also say that what is the best way to do. So I will talk about these things, but as per the MongoDB documentation, they say that you store the data in any way. Either you make a relationship, or you don't want to make a relationship, it's also okay. So so definitely the best way is vary people to people and company to company. How the best way you can make the schema or store the data in a MongoDB. So I will talk about in a detail in a next coming video. And but one important thing you can keep in your mind then that this is not a specific or hard rule that you need to follow like a structural or relationship database. So here you can store in any way. And okay, so you understand that in the user table you have provided this schema design, and this is a skeleton, you can say some of the detail, and based on that it is working. And module.export is equal to user. Now you have exported the user, the name is user, and you have imported in this particular library. Okay, you have imported it, and using this you can do many type of CRUD operation using this model. So you understand. Now let's check it, this login. So in this login, the user dot find one, it means you are trying to find out the email ID. So you have provided the email ID, you are checking that email ID is matching or not. If email ID is matched, then you will get a response in the then method. In the then method you will get a response. If user, you will get the user. So I think you understand this one, because you are finding through the email from the database. Email if is matched, that particular data you will get. Okay, then user, you got the user, and then if user is not exist, then you can show the message that you can return. How you will return? Response. Again, for the for the response, you need to use this argument, which is the res. This is for the response. You can give any name, because this is just a variable argument, so you can give any name. So this is the response. res.status 400.json. So in the JSON format, you are sending the data to the front end after the response. So if user is not exist, then you are sending that user is not found, the message. Okay, and now if everything is all right, it means user is found, then it will execute next one, because it will not return. So next code will execute it. If it return, then next code will not execute, but it's not returned. Suppose user is found, then basiccrypt.compare req means request.body.password. It means you got a password. bcrypt is the one library you have utilized. You have, for that you have to import it. So you have created the variable bcrypt, and this, through this bcrypt, here this one is a register, and this one, yeah, the compare the password and the user.password. It means you are you are trying to collect your data okay. So whatever in the database. So through the user you got a data. So through the user you got a data. What is the data? Password. So from the database you got a password, and whatever you have provided, you got it. You are trying to compare. Okay, then it's match. If it is match that particular data, it means whatever password you have provided and whatever password is saved in the database, you have bcrypt, you have encrypted, and then you are comparing, and after comparison, if it is a match, then you will get the information that it is a matched. So here you got information that true or false. It is true or false. It is matched or not. If it is a match, then what you will do? So here you can notice that is matched. This code will execute. This if condition will be execute, right? So here is the payload. You just it is just a variable. So ID, it means user.id. You got ID, username, username, and the name user.name, and email user.email. So it means that you got a payload. Okay, it's all right. Means got a payload. You have created a payload, and then what you are doing, that this is payload you have providing to the to the front end. So jwt.sign the payload and the key. Again, jwt.sign is taking some of the parameter. The parameter is that payload, whatever payload you want to pass. So payload is the detail of this particular user, which you have stored in the payload variable. And then the key is what? Key is here. You can go there and you can notice a secret key. Okay, so from the require config key, from this particular page, you have defined the variable which is a secret. However, you can do in a env file. Env, it means that you need to create a env, and in that particular env you need to provide all this static data. That particular data will be utilized in all over the application. You can also use it, so no issue on that. So if you will go in this particular page, then you can notice that this is the secret. So secret is your secret, you can provide any name. Okay, so this is the secret, so this will verify here. So now I am going to the user.js, and it means it's a secret. Okay, so here you understand the payload means user detail. You have get the data from the database and providing to the payload, and then key. What is the key? So key understand that this is the any value. Okay, so for example this one, this is the key. This is the key. Only backend, your backend is no, front end is front end people are don't know. So then it is a expiring. How many, after how many time it will be a get expired, means if you will try to use this particular token, then you will not able to do. So this is the expire in. Okay, so I think you understand about it. Then error and then token. So after that, this will provide you the response. What is the response? One response will be the error and the token. So error, if you will get the error, then you can display. Otherwise, if you will go to token, then you can provide a token. So it means that if user is successfully logged in, means the comparison, the password comparison will be done. If it is a match, and then JWT token is created, and then you can provide that particular JWT token. So one message is the true, and another one is the token, which is this one, and another one is the user detail, and then you have provided a message. However, in the JWT token itself, payload have a some of the information regarding this user, like username, name, email, like that. Okay, you have also passed some of the like ID, you have also passed, but however you need to convert it in your you can get that particular payload data at the React in. You can also do, but for the better understanding, for your understanding, I have also passed the user detail in this way also. Okay, so the payload have this information. It is very, very important, because if you store this particular payload in your local storage in the front end, then anytime from in any time you can get extract the data of the user through this payload. So payload have some of the format of the data. So you understand, in this way you are response dot status 200, you are providing the 200 response, or here it is a 404, it means not found. Definitely 404 is representing for the not found. Regarding the status, you can check it from the Google. Okay, you can get a better idea. So 200, it means everything is correct. This is the information you are providing, that everything is good. So now the success is true, token is token, and user is user, and message Harry, you have you have now logged in. And then else method is that if not matched, if password is not matched, then you can display that incorrect method, incorrect password, like that. So response dot status 404 dot JSON, and message is incorrect password and success false. So now there is, what will be the response? The response will be this one, whatever you have provided. So now you understand. So you can notice that you got a response that message is true, and this is the token. Token is you can notice whatever token is a mixture of the many things. So if you will go in the JWT token for a better understanding, you can understand. So this is the payload, as you can notice, and yeah, you can see here. So this is your header, this is your payload and verified signature, the secret based encoded. So after encoding, this is the base 64 URL header included. Then this JWT token have information of your payload. It means whatever data you have passed and another one is the your secret, like that. So you can understand in a better way if you follow this some of the documentation, you can read it. So I hope that you got a idea, you understand how you can make a API in the Node.js, and in the next video I will talk about in a detail. So thank you for watching.